This video will guide you through how to apply MeltMark preformed thermoplastic road marking on bituminous asphalt surfaces. MeltMark is designed for application outdoors on bituminous asphalt. MeltMark is delivered in boxes as pre-cut lines, arrows, letters, numbers, logo types, etc. The top surface is treated with drop-on beads and friction particles. MeltMark is available in more than 20 different colors based on heat and UV-resistant, non-classified high-performance pigments. MeltMark is produced in an ISO 9001 and ISO 14001 certified facility. We use resins from renewable sources such as pine trees. MeltMark is easy, fast, and cost-effective to install and requires no major capital investments. The following tools are needed. 1. A propane cylinder, preferably a larger size cylinder of at least 19 kilograms. 2. An industrial propane torch. 3. A power blower or broom. 4. A tape measure and chalk line. MeltMark should be applied in suitable weather conditions. Temperature, humidity, and wind should be favorable. Application in cool, late-season conditions may be possible but requires a higher degree of judgment and experience. The asphalt must be dry and in good condition. If the asphalt is aged and porous, the surface must be well cleaned and thereafter sealed with one-component MeltMark primer. The one-component primer seals and strengthens the surface and protects from ground moisture. MeltMark is applied in 3 simple steps. 1. Prepare the surface. 2. Position. 3. Apply heat. Start by chalking down the correct position and alignment of the marking. Clean the surface. All loose particles, such as sand and dust, must be completely removed. Oil, grease, salt, and remains of striping paint, etc. must be removed. If needed, remove moisture by drying with the propane torch. Aged and porous asphalt must be sealed with one-component primer. The one-component primer is normally dry after 10 to 20 minutes. When the primer no longer is sticky, you can proceed to the next step. Note that the primer must be completely dry before positioning the preformed marking. Position MeltMark with the beaded side up. Apply heat from a distance of 20 to 30 centimeters. Heat the material slowly but steadily until completely molten. Distribute the heat evenly across the area of the marking in a sweeping motion. The material must have time to melt and bond to the underlying surface structure. Do not heat too closely or at one spot at a time, since this can cause superficial scorching. If scorching happens, it will normally wear down after some time by traffic. Note that smaller propane cylinders freeze up and lose power after approximately 10 minutes use. Use large propane cylinders and, if possible, also have a backup bottle ready. After MeltMark is sufficiently heated, the marking can be treated with drop-on beads and friction material. Observe that the drop-on beads must be applied right away on the melted marking in order to embed correctly. If needed, apply extra heat for the drop-on material to sink in deeper. The drop-on particles shall embed to approximately 60% of their diameter for best result. The first picture shows drop-on glass beads that have not embedded correctly. The second picture shows drop-on glass beads correctly embedded. It is possible to combine friction aggregate in glass beads. MeltMark cools down relatively fast and can be driven upon after it has reached ambient temperature and no longer is soft and sticky. Some water can be sprayed on top to speed up the cooling process. To verify bond, perform test with a chisel. There should be evidence of asphalt aggregate bonded to the back side of the lifted material. For extra clarity, we perform a destructive test to demonstrate correct bonding. We use a bark shovel to remove the newly applied and hot material. Look at how nicely the material has inserted itself into the asphalt structure. Some colors may be more difficult to apply in comparison to white material. There may be slight differences in melting time and flow properties. In such cases, set the torch at approximately half power and heat for longer time. Alternate and distribute heat evenly until all areas are thoroughly and completely heated so that the marking bonds correctly. Finally, a few words about application on concrete and non-bituminous surfaces. For these types of surfaces, MeltMark should be applied with a two-part sealer in order to achieve a proper bond. This method is not to be confused with what has been presented in this video. Read more about our products on our website, www.meltmark.com. You can reach us on the following email and phone number.